without glasses. John Zucal and I are going to talk this morning. So, John, welcome in. You are now the superintendent of Conotton Valley Schools. So we haven't talked since then. So congratulations and welcome to the new workload.
Thank you, Brad. I appreciate it. Really enjoying my time at Conotton Valley as superintendent, and known you for a long time, so it's glad to spend some time with you this morning.
We're glad that you come in. We wanted to talk to the area schools kind of at the beginning of the school year, which I guess we've dived into that a little bit, but things are in routine now. But it's still early part of the school year. So in the case of Conotton Valley, I think the first question you probably get asked a lot, and so everybody maybe wants to know is, what is the progress of all the construction that was undertaken?
Yeah, with the Rocket Center, and that is a question everyone wants to know, and honestly, it's an answer that we would love to have as well, because part of where we're at right now is at a standstill because of the plans that have been submitted to the Department of Commerce, and those plans need approved, and then following that, we have to line up the inspections. Well, with COVID and some of the situations where employees then are working still from home for the state, and some honestly have left their jobs over time, there is a backload of permits, applications, whatever it may be, that the Department of Commerce handles. And so we're still somewhere down on that list until they can review those plans, sign off of those, and then schedule the actual inspections by, like, for example, the fire. We can't move forward with actually allowing the public into the building. Right now, we did get some partial occupancy so that we could recognize and allow our young people to use the gym for volleyball practice, the weight rooms available for our football team to use, the bowling team's getting some practice on the alleys, but we're limited to 30 student athletes and coaches combined, and they can't be on the same leveled floor at the same time. So there are still some restrictions out there, but we had to ensure that there were no life safety measures that weren't being met. Otherwise, we're still waiting, and as I shared with the alumni this past weekend, when we know, we will certainly be glad to let them know, and then we'll coordinate some of those dedication ceremonies when time allows. But I know it's been frustrating for the community. They've been very excited and eager to get in, but right now it's out of our control, so we just continue to think about all the great things down the road.
Are there construction crews still finishing things? I mean, walls are up and roofs are on, that sort of thing, but there's still a little bit of work to do.
Yeah, there's still work to be done. Right now we have about still 1,200 items on our punch list. Some of them are small, just repairing a little bit of paint here that might have been nicked up and whatnot. But yeah, we still have some construction crews that are out there doing some of the work that still needs to be done to wrap that up. So realistically, until they're complete as well, which shouldn't take long, we don't want to have opportunities, for the public to be in and contractors still doing the work.
Right. Now, as far as the student who comes to school and isn't in extracurriculars, what benefit are they getting? Is there a new cafeteria involved and some other things?
One of the things that's involved is, and we were able to gain access to that last year, part of the Rocket Center project was the cafetorium, which is really, really nice. So those students, whether you're, like you said, they're not involved in athletics, so they're not seeing that immediate impact like we just talked about. But the cafetorium that we've been able to use for a year now, really, really nice for the kids. Plenty of seating, and that also opened up the multi-purpose aspect of that, where we've been able to hold our school plays and different functions in there. So certainly an upgrade from what we've had in the past, and really great for our community and most importantly for our young people.
Every existing thing on that campus remains, right? I know, and I'm sure everybody in the district knows that that's the only building in campus at this point. So has that been beneficial with busing and that sort of thing?
Absolutely. I love the idea, especially with a district our size, that we sit on one campus under one roof, essentially, and that proves to be a benefit in a lot of different ways for our young people. They don't have to travel to get to some of the locations where they need to go for practices or whatnot. The benefit, too, with transportation is, yeah, you're not going to separate schools. Before, just think about the elementaries. You had one elementary in Sharesville, the other in Bowerston, kind of going two different directions. Now we're all coming into a central location. And ultimately, one of the goals, I believe, of our Board of Education and myself is to get our buses away from just the Bowerston garage, as we call it. There's some interest from the village of Bowerston in using that for some of the water treatment facilities. So we've been in conversation with Bart Busby and his folks there. Ideally, we'd like to be able to move those buses over and get those on that same location where the campus sits, and just make it for a very uniform setting. And if we ever need to vacate the property, there's any type of leak or anything like that says, oh, you got to make sure you clear the students out. We got to see if there's a gas leak. The buses are right there.
Yeah.
We don't have to worry about them coming from a satellite location.
Yeah. When we talk about students, how many are we talking about now? Is this still a growing district?
It is a growing district, and we've seen, I think, consistent growth over the last 5 years with our preschool. That's really where we're seeing a lot of our growth. Our preschool, we have both a 3-year-old, 4-year-old, and then the 5-year-old program for those who aren't quite yet able to attend kindergarten, and those are maxed out. And so we have waiting lists for those. So right now our enrollment pushes us a little bit over 520 pre-K through senior, and we've been as last few years right around 470. So we're seeing that growth. We're seeing some very positive things out of young families, seeing the value of our preschool. And we know from an educational standpoint, we get our children in our preschool, they're going to be more successful just because they have a very structured routine and a strong curriculum to help them down the road to have those foundational skills.
I have a little bit of inside information, but I know the teacher's pay has been bumped up so that you're competitive with everybody else and actually better than some around the area. That has to be very solidifying as far as providing an education as well.
Absolutely. I mean, people have to work for a living. The teachers that are out there, some of them have been there a long time. The oil and gas contracts that were able to be negotiated with Rover have been extremely beneficial. They help make the Rocket Center a reality. And at that same time, you always want to make sure you invest in your people, because that's the most critical part. You can have beautiful facilities, but if you don't have great teachers, people inside the building making a difference, that's where the magic happens. So yeah, our actual teacher salaries, and you can see some of this information on the state report card, but we're outperforming a lot of our neighboring districts where at one point in time that wasn't the case. So Conotton has become a destination for a lot of folks. Small class sizes, great families and students, and quality pay. So sounds like a recipe for success if you're looking for a great job.
It does. There's your pitch.
There you
go. With that in mind, are there plans for the future? Or, I mean, obviously there are, but is there anything that you can project and tell us about?
Well, one of the goals that we have with our internally, you see a lot of emphasis on career-based instruction, and I'm looking at that higher end. And we're very blessed in having Buckeye Career Center right in our own backyard, which is one of the premier career centers in the state of Ohio, run extremely well with wonderful programs. And so we look internally and we say there is no way that most of our public schools, traditional schools, are going to compete from a career perspective with Buckeye Career Center. Why would you? But what we do know from workforce development is that we want to make sure that our young people have the soft skills that are out there. Having served 12 years on New Philly City Council, I always heard from those who are out there looking for employees, we need people that are reliable, dependable, and when they come to work, they're willing to give us an honest day's effort. And so we're trying to instill that in our students. We have some great programs, I think, to do that. We start as early as our 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade. We have our Guys with Ties program and Girls with Pearls that really integrate a lot of those elements of success into the curriculum, but also valuing yourself as a person. We're a Leader in Me district, so all the way from preschool on up through our seniors, we work on those 7 or 8 habits of highly effective young people. And so we've made a commitment on those ends financially and from a curriculum perspective. But we also are consistently looking at ways to integrate those soft skills, those workforce ready skills into the programs so that when our kids do go and matriculate to Buckeye, yes, they may be learning the technical side, but we've already set the foundation for being successful because they understand what employment employers are looking for from their employees.
Some work ethic. So.
Exactly right.
I know the answer to this last question already, but do you sense the school pride has kind of risen, and Go Rockets really means something now?
Absolutely. And it's amazing what facilities will do for you.
Yeah.
We have some of the finest facilities, probably in the state of Ohio for a district our size, and maybe all districts. We have the new elementary wing, which we call new, but it was from 2016, but it is still extremely well maintained, ideal classrooms. We have the Rocket Center, turf field, just put up a brand new video board for our football. But one of the neat things about that video board, Brad, is that it's not just going to be used for football season. Right now, we're planning some activities for our young people, especially the elementary, reading under the stars, where moms and dads can come out with their children, bring a book with them, but that book will also be read or captured on the big screen. We can show some movies under the stars for some family time. So the beauty of those type of facilities go beyond just the athletic realm. We're looking at it, and we'll have probably, if everything goes according to plan, turf baseball and softball fields for next year, brand new gym, beautiful gym that we can't wait to unveil to our community in the Rocket Center, the host basketball season, and folks come out, they'll be elated with what they see there. And part of the way we want to capture and highlight that venue is we're having our first ever holiday tournament with a number of schools coming in, and some really bigger schools are going to travel out to Carroll Harrison County and visit us at the Rocket Center for some really great holiday basketball.
We'll put in some good Wi-Fi, and maybe we'll meet you out there.
Sounds like a winner.
John, thanks for stopping by. It's very interesting.
Yep, appreciate it. Thank you so much, Brad. Go Rockets.
All right, thanks a lot. John Zucal, who is the superintendent at Conotton Valley Union Local Schools, our guest this morning on the BT Morning Show.